Hi everyone, welcome to today's practice. It was inspired by a video that I recorded for my Gumroad membership. So in that video we did do a little warm up first, so listen to your body. If you need to do a warm up, then perhaps do one of my other videos. Maybe you can tag this at the end of your walk, your run, your gym workout. Just listen to your body, you will know what's best. So let's start in tabletop. And then once you get to tabletop, just check in with the hands, spreading those fingers wide. I'm tucking my toes so you can bring the tops of the feet to the floor. And check to see if those shoulders are over the wrists. Shoulder blades are in neutral on the back of the rib cage and pelvis is in neutral. And then just look down towards the floor, so you're not dropping the head down, not touching the chin up, so that neck's in line with the rest of the spine. And once you're there, shoulder blades are in neutral, checking that the pelvis is in neutral. And then maybe close the eyes, or just soften the gaze, and just wag the hips gently from side to side. Just a little range of movement. Just that natural breath. Long, slow inhales, soft, easy exhales. And then just come to neutral. Gentle hug in to midline, or that gentle bracing. Toes are tucked for everyone. Float the knees off the floor and allow the hips to come up and back, down dog. Let's set our base. Check that the head and neck's nice and relaxed. Push up through the arm, lengthen the armpits, lengthen out the spine, and don't worry about the heels coming to the floor. Come onto the balls of your feet, spread the toes wide. So arms are active, lengthening out the armpits, lengthening out the spine. So it's more important to keep that spine long than it is to worry about bringing the heels to the floor. Head and neck nice and relaxed. Just breathing. Maybe try and breathe to the sides and the back of the rib cage. So wide and full. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And on your next exhale, bend the knees, lower the knees to the floor, tabletop. Set your base, shoulder blades in neutral. From here, slide that right leg out behind you, tuck the toes. And then from here, I'm just trying to adjust my knee, activate that right glute, float the right toes off the floor, pause in here. Check that the hips are square, so those hip points are just shining down onto the mat beneath you. And then float the toes to the floor, knee back underneath the hip, tabletop. Gentle hug in, slide that left leg out, use that left glute to float the left toes off the floor. Check in here. And then slowly float the toes to the floor, tabletop. Let's do that one more time. Lengthen out the right leg, float the right toes off the floor, using that right glute. Then maybe stay here. Maybe slide that left hand in front, maybe come up onto the left fingertips. Maybe float the fingertips off the floor. Or maybe float the arms up about shoulder height. Superman. Pause in here. Staying nice and strong, that gentle hug in. Check that you're not flaring the lower ribs out. And slowly come back to tabletop. Left leg, slide it back. Left glute, float the toes off the floor, square off the hips. Slide that right hand forward. Maybe stay here or come up into the fingertips. Float the fingertips off the floor. Maybe lift the arm up a little bit higher so it's roughly in line with the shoulder. Maybe a little bit lower depending on your balance. Pause in here, that gentle hug in. Exhale, slowly come back to tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, down dog. Set your base, push up through the arms, lengthen the armpits, lengthen out the spine, relax the head and neck. Maybe pedal at the feet, so just gently lowering and lifting one heel at a time, bending and gently lengthening one leg at a time, walking your dog out. Maybe you're staying still. And then from here, let's transition to the front of the mat. So we're going to walk our feet to our hands. I'm just going to lean to the left to create some space, step that right foot forward, lean to the left to step that left foot forward. And just slowly walking, hands to the feet at the front of the mat. Bend the knees, allow the hips to float back, lengthen out the spine. And I've just got my upper body, my ribs resting on my thighs. Check they're not jutting that chin up. And then from here, hip hinge all the way up with a lovely long spine. Allow the hands to slide all the way up the front of the thighs. Weight even through both feet. Reach fingers up towards the ceiling. Soften the knees, pelvis neutral. Exhale. Float the palms to the thighs. Hip hinge all the way down. Sliding the hands down to the thighs, fingertips to the floor, maybe palms. Step that right foot back, left foot back, down dog. Set your base in your down dog. Maybe pedal out those feet, walking your dog out. And then see if you can still breathe, widen forward to the sides, the back of the rib cage, relaxing the head and neck. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, bending the knees, tabletop, knees touch the floor, set your base. Right leg, left arm, Superman. If you can't bring that arm up, then just keep the arm in contact with the floor. And come back to tabletop. Left leg, right arm, set your base, that gentle hug in, check in with the head and neck. And come back to tabletop. One more each side. Right leg, left arm, neck in line with the rest of the spine, that gentle hug in, tabletop. Left leg, right arm. And then slowly come to tabletop. Tuck the toes, hips up and back, down dog, pedal out the feet. Transitioning, hands to the feet at the back of the mat. You can do this via tabletop, or you can join me from down dog. So bend those knees, keep the hips high, lean to one side, step one arm back, then the other. Heels start to lower to the floor, hips are high, allow the hips to float back, lengthen out the spine, hip hinge all the way up. Lovely long spine, reach your fingertips towards the ceiling. And exhale, just bring the hands down through to heart centre, soften the knees, bring that pelvis to neutral, gentle hug in. And then keep the feet flat on the floor, just shift the weight from side to side, shifting the weight to the left foot, to the right foot, left, to the right. And next time you shift the weight to the left, keep that left knee soft. Maybe you can float the right foot off the floor. Shift the weight to the right, maybe the left foot floats off the floor. Keeping those knees soft. And just shifting side to side. To shift the weight to one foot, allow the other foot to float off the floor. Shift and lift. Shift and float. Let's do one more left. And then one more right. Keep that gentle hug in. Both feet flat on the floor. Reach your fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. As you exhale, hinging forward. And then either tabletop and down dog, or just walk straight out to your down dog. Set your base. Take a nice deep breath in. Pedal out those feet. Nice and easy exhale. And then take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, lower the knees to the floor. Keep the toes tucked. Slowly come up to high kneel, pelvis in neutral, gentle activation of the glute, gentle hug in. Reach the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Bend the elbows, goddess arms. Pausing here, just open out the chest, soften the hands, the fingers. Elbows can be about shoulder height or a little bit lower if that feels more comfortable for your shoulders. Just a gentle chest opener. Exhale, release the arms, roll the right shoulder back, the left. The right, the left, the right, the left. And then slowly come to tabletop, tuck the toes, gentle hug in, and down dog. And then from here, let's just lean to the right, step the left foot forward, walking the feet to the hands at the front of the mat, slow and controlled. Once you get to the top, weight in through both feet, check that you're not jutting the chin up, allow the hips to hinge back. And then just come all the way up. Reach fingers up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands down through to heart centre. Soften the knees, pelvis to neutral. Shift the weight to that left leg, so that right foot floats off the floor, and then step it back into high crescent. Check your base, 2 lines, not 1. Pelvis in neutral, gentle activation of that right glute. Find your focal point, your drishti in Sanskrit, and then from here, inhale, allow that inhale to lift you up, lifting out the left leg, fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, soften into crescent and release the arms. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften into crescent, release the arms. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften into crescent, release the arms. Just pausing here for a moment. Just going to talk to you through what we're doing next. We'll find our focal point. We'll shift our weight forward into that right leg, and I'm going to step into a baby tree. So your baby tree can be the right toes on the floor, or the bottom of that right foot, the sole of the right foot, on that left lower leg with the right toes above the ankle. So when you're ready, I'm bringing my hands to heart, shifting the weight forward into that right foot. Find your focal point, keep that gentle hug in, and then just step into your version of baby tree. So just check that you haven't got your foot on that knee joint. It can be up a little bit high if you want to, or the toes can be on the floor. Just pausing here. Spreading the toes of that left foot. Left big toe round in contact with the floor. You can soften that left knee. If you want to grow branches, you can, or you can just bring the arms out to the side, staying broad across the collarbones, the palms facing forward. It's up to you. If you want to grow branches, small branches, big branches, high branches, you can. Just stay in there with your balance. Find your focal point, gentle hug in, check they're not flaring out those lower ribs. And then from here, slowly start to bring that foot away from that lower leg, so the right knee points forward. Slowly step it back, so all the weight's in that right leg, come onto the ball of the right foot. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, soften, crescent, release the arms, step it forward, shift the weight onto that right leg, step it back, hands through to heart, coming into a right crescent lunge, right high lunge. Check your base here, pelvis neutral, gentle activation of the left glute. And then from here, inhale, lengthen out that right leg, fingertips to the ceiling, exhale, soften to high crescent, release the arms. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften and release. Allow that inhale to help you lengthen up. And exhale, soften and release. For here, find your focal point. I'm bringing my hands through to heart. Keep that gentle hug in. Spreading the toes wide in that right foot. Shifting the weight into that right foot, into that right leg. Focal point. And then slowly step into your baby tree. So the left toes can be in contact with the floor. You can have the sole of the left foot, the bottom of the left foot in contact with that inside of that right leg. You can have the toes above the ankles, a little bit higher, but not on that knee joint. Just stay in here, gentle hug in, check they're not flaring the ribs out. You can have your branches, they can be low. So here I've got my palms facing out, my chest is open, shoulder blades in neutral, lengthening the spine. You can just grow your branches, whichever way you want to, or you can just stay here, hands at heart. Keeping that right knee soft so it's not hyperextended. And then from here, slowly start to bring the bottom of that left foot away from that right leg so the left knee points forward. Step it back, coming into your high crescent. And then inhale, lengthen, fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale, high crescent, and soften. Shift the weight into that right leg, step it forward, reach fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinge forward. Fingertips or hands to the floor, step it back into your down dog. Pedal out the feet. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly lower the knees to the floor. Shoulders over your wrist and just gently wag the hips from side to side. Option now to come into child's pose to finish. You can bring the big toes together and bring the knees wide, or you can join me in kneeling. So if you're coming into your child's pose, maybe bend the arms and now the palms to face up towards the ceiling. You can use a block to rest your head on, or some of you may be able to drop the head towards the floor. Or if you're coming to kneeling, just bring the palms to the thighs. Just that easy breath. Allow the breath to slow down. Maybe still breathing wide and full to the sides, back of the rib cage. But just allowing the breath to soften and to slow down. And if you're in child's pose, slowly join me in kneeling, or maybe high kneel if that feels more comfortable for your knees. Or maybe knees cross-legged. Now wherever you are, just allow the arms to dangle at the side and just roll the right shoulder back, the left, the right, the left, right, and left. And then just slowly to your eyes open. Thank you very much for joining me for this short flow. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can hit the thumbs up. If you have any messages for me, you can message me below or on Instagram, or you can drop me an email. But take care everyone. See you soon.